Hi, it's Jacob with Triple Falls. Today, our guest, Sharee, is here with us, and we're here to discuss the charity bike ride that you've planned or are planning to happen here in Mankato to highlight some racial justice issues. You want to tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. The ride is called Turning Wheels for Racial Justice, and like you said, it's a fundraiser for NAACP here in Mankato. It's a really fun way to challenge yourself to a certain distance, but also to challenge your friends. You can fill out a form submitting a ride challenge. You decide how many miles you're going to ride, and then you make that donation, and then you can go out and do your rides, share with your friends. We have some hashtags that you can use to spread awareness, and this will be going on till the end of July. And each week we will have videos released designed to educate about how to shift our lens and to be more aware of racial justice and white supremacy that goes on systemically, but also here in Mankato in the cycling community.
Oh, that's amazing. Or, well, not the white supremacy, obviously, but the idea. How is the ride organized? If people want to participate, how do they get involved?
Yeah, so it's really simple. There'll be a form. The first video I will be releasing this Monday. That will be a Google form where they can fill out their name, their pronouns, email, how many miles they're going to ride, and then a Venmo account where they can make their donation immediately. And then they'll have to the end of July to complete the ride. And then, like I said, the hashtags that they can post and share and invite more friends. I really encourage people to be creative with what a challenge might look like. So this can mean if you have friends that are more they're cyclists that cycle frequently, you can challenge them to like a 100-mile ride. Mm-hmm. You can also get sponsors. So if you want to do 100 miles, but you don't want to donate that, you can have a sponsor or have multiple sponsors. And then you can also challenge friends that maybe have not been on a bike for a long time or ever to do something like a 5-mile ride. In addition to the donations from riders, Greater Mankato Bike Walk advocates have agreed to match donations up to $5,000. And Nicollet Bike Shop has graciously offered to donate $5 per ride completed up to 50 rides, which is just absolutely wonderful. So that $5 ride challenge can equate to a $20 donation to the NAACP.
Wow. So it's not going to be like it is not going to be a group ride, everyone together.
Nope.
How are they going to be logged? Or it's just going to be individuals organizing their own ride, and then they collect the money and it goes to? Absolutely.
So I've played with having them recorded on Strava or sending me an email saying the ride is completed. But I really want to focus on the momentum and that people will hold themselves accountable, their friends accountable, and to just make it a more for fun situation rather than prove that you did the ride.
Mm-hmm. And what's the time frame?
So I will release the first video this Monday, the 13th.
Okay.
And then they have till the end of July to complete their ride. And you can submit challenges at any point throughout that. So as it builds steam and people learn more about it or discover it in general, even the very last day, you could go fill out the form for a $10 challenge or for a 10-mile challenge, make your $10 donation, go on your ride.
Is there a limit to how many rides an individual can do?
No, we only ask that you fill out separate forms for the separate rides. So if you are challenging 3 friends, please fill out 3 separate forms, and then your own if you're also doing a ride.
Oh, okay.
It's a sort of complex but pretty neat concept for fundraising. It seems kind of interesting.
Thank you. It's
Did you problem solve all that?
Yeah, kind of. There have been other bike challenges like that Nicollet has done. I think it's like the April bike challenge. You bike every single day. And so I thought about ways to encourage people to bike long distances, get on their bike, and then to donate. If people have been wondering about ways to participate, if they felt like they don't have a place in the movement or they don't know they just don't know where they fit. I figured this is a good place, a good way to get people on bikes, get people learning and thinking, and really challenge their biases that make Mankato cycling community not as diverse as Mankato.
Mm-hmm. And that's the cycling community as a whole, not to make any excuses for Mankato in any way, but you see a lot of those events on television, and it's a milky white stream.
100%. One of the only, I think the only pro female cyclist, Aisha McGowan, just published a article titled, "Is Cycling the Most Racist Sport in the World?" And I think that that's a really valid question and something that we should think about.
Mm-hmm. I mean, anytime you see you see a group like that just tends to go in one direction, it should be questioned why it goes that way. And I don't have any of the answers for it, but I'm glad that someone's asking the questions and it's happening here. I mean, that said, Mankato is it has a lot of cycling going, like every kind of cycling I can imagine. There's someone doing some type of advocacy for it, and something. What's your relationship to cycling in Mankato like?
So I got into cycling when a friend that I worked with introduced me to bike polo. I think this is my 4th season, and it actually took me a year of hanging out with the group before I actually got the nerve to get on the bike, and I immediately ran into the wall.
Yeah.
And it was horrible, but everyone was so supportive. And then as I began socializing more with that group, I got interested in commuting, and I got a little bit better bike at that point. And then bike camping trips were a regular thing through Key City. And they kind of teach you the one-on-one of that. And everyone, again, is just super supportive. And here, I have extra gear. And, can I tie that better for you? And then I got a fat bike because biking in winter is just ridiculous, and I absolutely love it. And it's really cool just to see how you can push your limits and exist in environments that have previously felt that you couldn't exist in comfortably. And then mountain biking came after that. My wonderful partner was like, well, if you like fat biking and you like mountain biking on your fat bike, I know you're going to like this. So I've gotten more into that recently and absolutely love it. Kiwanis and Mount Cato are, yeah.
Your house is populated with bikes now.
We each have like 5, I think is the number.
That'll happen.
I don't know what happened.
So for those who might be unfamiliar, could you give a brief overview of bike polo and how it's played?
Yeah, so that originated like 10 years ago in a tennis court with like 10 hooligans that just didn't have anything to do. And then it moved down to Stoltzman at that hockey rink. And they started out with, can I swear?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Really shitty bikes and mallets made out of ski poles and PVC pipe. And it was really rough to begin with. And then as more people got interested, and it's also like world known, like it's all over the world. And we host a bike polo tournament most years in August. This year we are skipping it because of obvious predicaments. And it's called duos, where you find another person to dress as a dynamic duo in pop culture. And we play 4v4, which is rare. Bike polo is usually played 3v3, or 3 people on a team. It's played a lot like hockey. So you'll be on either ends and then joust for the ball. And then I would say the community is what kept me for sure. I think it can be really intimidating to walk into a situation like that, not knowing anybody. And everyone was always very inviting. And we play different levels of games sometimes. So everyone puts their mallets into a queue, and then they toss the queue to divvy up the teams. And
Is that like how the game starts, sort of?
yeah. Well, I mean, that's how we decide the teams, how they're randomized.
Sure.
Yeah. And then sometimes you can get a bunch of really strong players, and that game is more heated and intense. But when it's a mixed field or newer players in general, the game is just really naturally acclimated to that, to each individual player's style and level. People will slow down. People will make sure that you get to play with the ball, that you get that experience. Oftentimes they'll lay off just to like let you handle that ball for a second before they take it away from you.
What's the goal? It is like
Goals.
yeah.
The field looks like it's a hockey rink. Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's teams of 2 or 3.
3. Yep.
3 challenging each other, trying to score points.
Yep.
And the hockey net, is it the same as a hockey net, or is it a different thing?
We use a hockey net because
Okay.
that is what is on the court. And that's another cool thing about it is like wherever you go around the country, I went to Austin, Texas, and they don't really have a wall on one side. So those players have super unique ball handling skills because they're not able to rely on walls. And in the cities, they have a tennis court. Well, we have a hockey rink. So we tend to run the ball more. So you can actually like pass to yourself because it's so large. When in Minneapolis, it's a lot more about passing and like maintaining the ball rather than, losing control of it. Yeah.
So there's not like an organized body who decides how bike polo should be played.
No, the originator of the rules. So there is more intense, I would say, bike polo. There is a world competition, and a player that originated in Mankato actually wrote the official rule book for the sport. So there are rules designated to make sure that it stays safe and stays more based on skills rather than physical ability per se. A bigger bodied person, if the rules weren't in place, could totally overtake somebody else if they felt like it. But because of the rules, that's not really allowed.
How do you mean by that? Like you can't check or?
Yeah, you can't. You can. I'm not sure because we don't really play that way. So you can check to a certain point. You can like hit people in their shoulders and stuff like that. But if someone falls or like is hurt by your motion, be it cutting in front of them, even if they have the ball, T-boning, something, that kind of thing. If someone falls, that tends to be a disqualification, simply because we don't want to encourage that kind of behavior.
Is it like a hockey penalty kind of
A
situation?
penalty, yes, exactly. So, oftentimes the person has to go. So you can't put your foot down when you're playing polo. And when you do, you have to tap in on either side of the court in the center. So you'll go and like hit your mallet on the wall and then come back into play.
So are the important skills for something like bike polo mainly balance and, I don't know, what are the other skills
Gumption.
needed?
Gumption, patience with yourself, humility. I came in with no bike skills, no balance,
Okay.
I could ride a bike,
Yeah.
but I had never done anything bike oriented, and so I started from scratch. So absolutely, normal bike handling and bike skills is very useful. There's a lot of people that used to play hockey, that used to play other sports, that come in and kind of get a hand of it easier. But that's not required or necessary.
If you're a new player, what is the barrier to entry? What's it like for someone who just wants to try it?
Yeah, so we really try to remove those barriers by providing equipment. We have loaner bikes, 2 sizes. So if you're a larger bodied person or a smaller bodied person, we also have mallets, many mallets available. to try, and helmets available as well. So there's not really too much. You just kind of got to take the chance and come on down. We're super warm and welcoming when we see new people approaching. We'll ask you if you want to try it. If you want to just watch, that's totally, like I said, I did that for a year. People kept saying, yeah, you want to try it? You want to get a bike? No. Until finally everyone left. And I was like, can I see your bike for a second? I knew I wanted to do it, but I was very shy.
I just had this one in my head 100% there. Lost it.
What's your favorite part about that sport?
Honestly, personally, challenging myself and processing learned self-helplessness and feeling like I can't do something and feeling like I'm hitting a wall and just putting more time into it and letting people support me and just showing myself that I can, and the community. It's all over the country. I went to Austin, Texas, and there were people that I knew. We go to Grand Rapids, blanking on other places. But everywhere you go, there's people that you know. Those people come to our bike polo tournaments. There are people in Canada and Puerto Rico that come to our bike polo tournaments. And so it's just a lot of people wanting to have fun and be inclusive and encourage and cheer each other on.
Yeah, so we were talking about that a little bit before the show. Is Mankato such a hot spot for the sport that all these people come here, or is it just that kind of a sport where you have a lot of people who do that kind of traveling? Or I don't know if that makes sense.
Totally. So Mankato, it really depends on what kind of court is available. So Minneapolis, like I said, their only court is in a park, and it's a tennis court. It even still has the poles up for the net. So you're avoiding those poles. So they don't really have a space for a bike polo tournament. Here in Mankato, we've had Stoltzman for all these years. And then the past 2 years, we've actually done them at, what lake is that? What park is that?
Wrong guy.
It's in North Mankato.
Spring Lake
Park. Thank you. And that has 2 courts. So we were able to double the amount of people that could participate. And our tournament fills up every year, usually within a day. And I think we had like between 90 and 115 participants this last year. That's
well. And this is like does this organize itself? How are these people connecting?
Basically, it's a grueling process to get it all together, but the communication really spreads the word, and you just kind of make a Facebook page, and a bunch of people are talking about it, and then they sign up to do it. But yeah, everyone talks about where they're going to meet each other. There are individuals who travel all year long to bike polo tournaments, and they will go all over the country and travel to hit all the tournaments, because in the winter months, you're gonna go more south. You're gonna have more tournaments down south. So yeah, it's an amazing opportunity.
There hasn't been a winter bike polo tournament yet.
Not
organized.
Mankato. I have a fat bike though, so I'm ready.
Yeah.
So whatever.
That seems like it could be a neat addition.
I'll work on it.
So, how do those typically go? Tournaments, they'll just do a typical tournament function. So you have a couple teams face off, and then there's one victor.
Yeah. So the first day is random groups of 4. So again, it's duos. So you have 2 people that are paired up with 2 other people playing against 4 people. And then, So the duos switch up. So the 2 people that you're playing with will also switch as the people you're playing against switches. So you're not playing with the same 4 people. You're only playing with the same 2 people.
So is your team that 2-person team or the 4-person team you get paired with?
So your team is the pair.
Okay.
And then the second day, you solidify that second, your second pair of the 4 people. So then that day you move with the same 4 people, and then that helps us pick the winners based on the games played.
What's winning like? Do you?
I won a tournament in Madison, Wisconsin, and I cried. It's very lovely. I don't think most people cry when they win tournaments. But
Is there some kind of Stanley Cup or like what is the Mankato duos prize?
I think we have fallen short on like a legitimate prize. I think we do gift cards or we do, I don't remember. I wasn't part of that. I did not win at Mankato, obviously. But in Madison, it was a straight up welded statue looking thing with like bike parts. It's beautiful. It's gonna be mine next year. I gave it to the other newbie on the team. I was like, you can have it, but next year I want it. I'm hoping I can take it and then she'll forget about it. But other places, they'll have entire tables full of donated like goodies and grab bags and stuff that you can just take. Other times they give away wheel sets and frames, and just depending on the connections within the bike polo community in that area, that city, because a lot of people are bike mechanics and they work for these companies and they can just get kind of free stuff.
How does it work with the city? Like the city, I mean, obviously you have to have some kind of like, what's the deal?
We've had some members that are very good at communicating with the city, and the city is lovely. They are all about bike polo. We bring a lot of business. We've been here for a long time. We've intentionally never caused any issues. I think the city is always accepting and accommodating for our needs. For sure. So
they just like give you guys like how? I'm just like, what's the you guys get to use Stoltzman? What's the agreement? I mean, I just don't understand.
Yeah. We just kind of let them know what day it is, and we figure out what licenses we need and that kind of stuff. We have this last year we had a huge tent, and we have a ginormous grill food set up as well. So we just kind of ask what kind of information they need from us and make sure everything that we're going to do is appropriate and not going to get us in trouble. And
the Mankato team, are they called the Skunks?
Blue Skunks.
Blue Skunks.
Mankato originally was supposed to mean blue waters, but they misspelled it. It actually means blue skunks. So that's where Mankato Blue Skunk Bike Polo League came from.
Who made the typo?
Way back. It goes,
this is hundreds?
This is, Mankato is misnamed.
Oh.
Really?
Comforting.
Which I think is appropriate given our history with indigenous people.
Yeah. Jeez.
We deserve this and more.
So for someone who is curious about bike polo but doesn't really think they could do it themselves, how can they come check it out and see what's going on?
The Facebook page is a great way to either see what the conversation is. Obviously, we're not getting together regularly right now, but when things clear up, we will absolutely get going. Thursdays and Sundays are usually when we're out there. Some people go down for solo practice as well. But yes, the Facebook page is where I would recommend. You can message anyone that you see commenting there regularly and just say, if you're like me and you enjoy accountability buddy, and you enjoy somebody to connect with before you show up at a location, we are all very warm and welcoming, and I would recommend reaching out to one of us.
And the name of that Facebook page is?
Blue Skunk Bike Polo League.
Blue Skunk Bike Polo League. Well,
I think so.
I'll add it or something to the video.
That'd be lovely.
Cool.
Maybe pivoting back a little bit to the event that you're organizing. Is there a way that interfaces with that group? Like, are the Skunks going to be able to raise some money, you think?
Absolutely. I would say the majority of people that play Blue Skunks are somewhat involved in, I'd say about 80% of the people that play bike polo are involved in other aspects of the cycling community, be it Key City, bike camping, mountain biking, that kind of stuff. So absolutely, the people involved, the Blue Skunks will absolutely be involved in the fundraising.
Mm-hmm. And if people are looking for that event this coming Monday, where would they find that?
So I will be creating a Facebook page, Turning Wheels for Racial Justice. So keep on the lookout for that. I will be starting that page when I release the videos.
Okay. You got any other stuff you want to talk about? Mankato cycling or any plugs, anything like that?
Not that I can think of right now. Oh, man. No.
Okay,
right.
so then plugs, where can people find you or the Skunks?
The Skunks, yep. So the Skunk Facebook page, Turning Wheels for Racial Justice Facebook page. Check it out. Get on your bike. Get your friends on their bikes. Explore Mankato. There's so many paths and lakes and hiking places and little mountain bike single tracks that you can take on your regular bike. There's so much to discover out here. So, bike ride.
That's awesome. Well, should we wrap it up there then?
That's all I got.
All right.
I'm good.
Thank you for being on the cast. It was good to meet you and good to chat.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.